different form of expression that how is the craft actually it is designed. Let me run through a Excel chart, and I hope that will be
Ma'am,
further explaining your understanding on the Excel chart, right? We will do a small simulation to further give a clarity of our
excuse
thought.
me, ma'am.
Yes,
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted to clear a doubt.
yeah,
This demand curve is taken into consideration ceteris paribus, right?
yeah, yes, yes. Then only if you are
Okay, I
considering that
just
is what
wanted to
is the
clear
law.
that
Yes,
ceteris paribus.
that is the condition. So if this is the condition, then the law will be following. So right now, let me give you the same scenario. If I would have been only bothered by the price of masks and price of hand sanitizers, so as per the law of demand, when the price of mask will increase, the demand should go down. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. Increase in price is equal to decrease in demand.
But is it that always it happens?
No, ma'am. It depends on the consumer satisfaction. Some people are brand loyal.
Okay, that is one of the factor. But now, right now,
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
given case, when I say in case of mask, even if the price of the mask increases from say 100 rupees to 200 rupees, will the customer buy or not buy? Tell me.
Ma'am, if the supply remains
Yes, ma'am.
constant, then with demand, price will also increase.
Yes, yes. So we have taken up the case one and case two. Supply remaining
Yes, ma'am.
constant, even if price increases, the demand will increase. So
Increase.
in
Yes,
that
ma'am.
case, it will not follow your law of demand. It will follow rather the exception. And there, your demand curve won't be downward sloping, rather, it would be upward sloping. So it all
Yes, ma'am.
varies. But the law of demand is something which is generally acceptable. If you will look into the general scenario, where more than 90% of the following population, they follows the law of demand, and this law states that other factors, I will come to that, who are the other factors. So other factors remaining constant, that is your ceteris paribus. If that is the condition, then only the law of demand holds good. Otherwise, the law of demand might not hold good. It is not necessary that the law of demand will always hold good. Is it clear? So this is what is the case one is, which is your law, and the law follows your ceteris paribus. So when I was talking about the other things being constant or being equal, so who are those other things? So the other things are a consumer's income, which is another factor which is affecting the demand. It is the consumer preferences. Yes, as Shivam told, brand raw loyalty. If I have a weakness for a particular brand, so whatever may be the price, I am ready to pay for it. So that is
Yes,
another
ma'am.
factor which is affecting your demand. Fashion. Fashion, why is that now different kinds of miniskirt, hot pants are there into the market? Because there is a fashion. The millennials, they are having a drive for wearing those kind of clothes. So that is why that has increased the demand for such products. Price of the related goods. So related goods are nothing but these are some kind of substitutes and complements. So I'll come to that. What are these substitutes and what are these complements? Government policies. Yes, government has a very, very pivotal role in terms of following rules. In India, if now anyone is not wearing mask when they are going out, they are to be fined, and they are fined heavily. So why is it done? So that people at least follow the rules and that does not spread out the number of cases. So that is how government policy can also act as a very, very pertinent factor in order to determine the demand for hand masks and sanitizers. And of course, weather conditions. So as you see, your demand for ice creams will be more in summers rather than in winter. Demand for raincoats will be more in rainy seasons rather than in other seasons. So weather conditions also play a very, very pertinent role in determining your demand. So these are the other things remaining constant. So when you are saying law of demand, so you say that these are the things which should be constant. But imagine, can this all remain constant for a long period of time? Yes, consumer income can remain constant unless and until you are promoted or you are getting any bonus, your income cannot increase. Your preferences, unless and until you are not that fluctuate or you are not that that kind of fickiness in your mind to switch over. There are certain consumers who constantly switch over from product A to product B to product C. So that is what is called as you have an adaptability to switch over. So that cannot remain constant. Fashion. So fashion also remains constant. It is temporal. At certain point of time, certain fashion are in. At certain point of time, certain fashion are out. So that also affects the demand. Substitutes and complements. Depending upon how many substitutes a product has, that will also determine the demand. Government policy. As long as the COVID scenario is not going, the government is not going to change. The government will be strict with respect to policy making. So that is also a constant. Weather condition. Weather is not changing very, very frequently. But if you can see this year, the weather changing has been very, very frequent. Why? Because the global warming has come down. Because of the lockdown, most of the industries, most of the vehicles, they were not, at least for 3 to 4 months, you could see the air pollutant has come down drastically. And this has impacted the weather conditions, where you see summers having less impact over the entire weather. So that is how each of these factors, and that is why I'm saying economics is such a beautiful subject. You will see that things change. It is a subject of dynamism. You might not, you cannot say that this has to occur for all times to come. No, this will change depending upon different scenarios. Tomorrow, when COVID goes and things are normalizing, you might not find the demand for sanitizers and hand masks as it is prominent as it is now. So this is how you can see that how each of these factors play a very, very crucial role in terms of determining the demand, right? So this is how ceteris paribus has a very, very important factor in terms of dealing with demand. Now coming to the Excel sheet which you have already drawn, and I will rather ask you, one of you, to come up. Rather than putting me in terms of in scenarios, we can create our own graph and we can have a proper understanding about how is that graph plotted. So in the last class, many of you have raised your hands and told me also you are very, very comfortable with Excel, but not an issue if you are not comfortable with Excel. We will learn how to go forward with that. So I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So I will come to the small case. We will play a small game in order to have a proper understanding of demand and supply.
Yes.
So I've given you a small case, and this is completely your understanding, right? It's you as an individual, you will quote the price. I'm not going to quote the price at all, right? So the case is 100 ml Dettol sanitizer cost how much? That is why I put a blank space in shop 1. So you can take, in order to draw the demand curve. So the product, I can take the product, which is the hand sanitizer. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
The Dettol cost in shop 1. That means you are here, the first statement is for a supplier or for a buyer. The first statement, 100 ml Dettol sanitizer cost dash in shop 1.
It's for buyer, ma'am.
Hmm?
Shopkeeper, ma'am, it's like
Shopkeeper is charging that, right? So that will be supply or demand.
supplier.
Supply. So let me denote supply as SS. A 100 ml Dettol sanitizer paid in shop 1. So the paying part is done by whom?
Consumer.
Consumer or the buyer. So it is the demand, right? So the product which you have dealt with is your 100 ml. I have very specifically mentioned it, Dettol sanitizers. Clear? So now it's up to you to give values to that. How much does a 100, according to you, how much does a Dettol sanitizer cost? So let me put it as the price over here. Demand and supply. So you have to come up with some price this much. When the price is this much, what was the demand? Because you can see that you have to create a schedule, right? Scheduling, the third step is scheduling a price, demand and supply table. Find out how do they react to it. So that means you have to at least 5 numbers. Suppose, for example, I am giving it as 100. Then the price changes from 100 to 95 or 94, then 87, then 76, then 60. So I have taken the price. So there are around 100 buyers of Dettol sanitizers. So 100 buyers. So you are plotting the demand of the entire 100 buyers. So how many would be the buyers out of 100? And how much would be the supply part, the quantity of Dettols sanitizer. So this is the task. You will create your table. You will put up the price, at least 5. Then with the price change, it's up to you. So I'm not going to at all, not going to affect in terms of your decision making. So now I just want to know, understanding the concept of demand and supply, how much values do you assign? So this is the small game. See it? So you have to assign certain values across. When the price is 100, what is the demand and what is the supply? When the price is 94, what is the demand and what is the supply? When the price is 87, what is the demand, what is the supply? When the price is 76, what is the demand, what is the supply? And when you can also change the price, right? So now you will create your own demand curve. So let us forget about supply side right now, only the demand side. I will come to the supply side later on. So only price and demand. Can anyone help me out? How much value should I put here?
1.
Okay, when the price is 100, but this is a demand for 100 buyers. Just be careful about the statement. There are 100 buyers. So you are not here telling me the individual demand. You are telling me from the perception of the entire market, entire 100 buyers, right? So for 100 buyers, when the price is 100, what is the demand?
20. 10.
10.
10.
So you are saying that out of 100 people, only 10 people are buying. That is what? Yes? That
Yes,
means?
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. As the price is high, the demand will be less.
Okay, I'm going by this number. Let us see what happens. Okay, when it is 94?
15. 15.
15, okay. When it is 87?
30.
20,
20.
20. When it is 76?
20,
20, okay. When it is 60?
Rest.
12.
35.
35. So you are saying 76, 87, 20, 76 also 20, 60, 20, 35,
Make
Yes.
that 25.
35. Okay. So let me take this value.
Yeah, that one.
It's fine. So, but all of you can do simultaneously and go through it. You can also work on simultaneously in the same manner. So now, suppose let me take up these values, which right now you told me. So first of all, select this. Clear? Select all the values. Go to insert. In insert, you have a scatter plot, right? So this is what is a scatter plot. Click onto that. So based upon the data, you see this is how it looks like. Clear? So when the price is 100, demand is 10. When the price is 94, demand is 15. Can anyone tell me, is this a right figure which has been drawn?
No, ma'am, because
No, ma'am.
Which is the
price
bottom?
should be in
No, ma'am.
x-axis.
Should be the
Very
downward
good.
sloping curve.
Very good, very good. The mistake over here is the price should be in, the values of the
Straight line.
price should be in y-axis. And the values of the quantity should be in x-axis. But here, can you see, by default, it took the shape. So what should I do? Just take a right click, reset to match, right? Select data. So now add. The series name is, say, demand curve. Series value, x. So what is our x value? X value is
10.
price or demand?
Demand.
Just put a
Demand.
cursor over here. X value is demand. So just select all the values of demand. So you can see the values coming in over here, 10, 15, 20. Y-axis is price.
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 So just select the values of the price. Okay. Now you have the series name is demand curve. The X values, the Y values. Click on to OK. Click on to OK. So you will see that this is the original demand curve. So price has come in the x-axis, quantity has come in the x-axis, and price has come in the y-axis. That is how you can draw the correct demand curve. By default, when you have drawn earlier, can you see it is a flat because 2020, at some point it was the same. So that is why it took a 1 point rather than taking 5 different points. So you need to draw a demand curve in this manner. Since this
घुमा
was
घुमा
the earlier,
घुमा के हम सेट करे और हिलने से फिर बंद.
sorry, can you just mute yourself? So similarly, if you change the numbers, if you can, I'm changing the numbers, let's say 20, 20, 15, the other way around if I take 10, 5, 0. So what do you see in this case? It becomes a upward sloping because I have taken a case when price increases, demand is increasing. I showed a positive relationship. So can you see? It is all about your graphical representation will be all about how you are dealing with your pricing sense. So this idea this misconception many of you would have while drawing the demand and supply curve. I have seen many students being confused. Demand curve upward sloping or downward sloping. What is that? But it is all about your process of thinking, that how much you assign values. So that is why the value assignment is very, very important when you are drawing the curve. So that is why I have put a blank space over here and giving you a right thought of mind in order to decide that how is that you can create your own demand and supply schedule. So now all of you have your data set with you, right or not? In the last class, I had given you a data set. So here you can see in a similar manner, we have drawn another case. I have taken a value of price and quantity demand. So I selected all. Then I went on to insert. Then I went on to scatter plot. This is your scatter plot. Can you see? In your laptop, this is a scatter plot. So once you click onto that, go for smooth bar. Then you get a, if you select, you get a line like this. But this is not necessarily the correct one. So in order to modify that, always remember you have to modify your chart. The one which you are seeing, you will say that, madam, this one is also downward sloping. Then what is the problem? The problem is nothing, the problem with the x coordinate and the y coordinate. As mentioned earlier, the x coordinate has to be the quantity.
demand.
And the
Quantity.
y quantity should be the price. But here it is just
Price.
showing the reverse. So that is why this is not a correct chart. So in order to build up a correct chart, what do you have to do? Just right click, go to select data. So first of all, remove everything, add. So series name is you and want to add, you want to draw a demand curve. So DD curve, series value, X value, you said your X is quantity. So just select
Quantity.
all the quantity. And Y value is your price. So select all the price values. Now then click on to OK. My OK is not visible, the screen. How this long, how could it be? My God. Yes. So OK. Okay. So can you see now, is the curve right? The earlier,
Yes, ma'am.
so now it is
Yes,
correct or
ma'am.
wrong?
Correct.
Absolutely correct. But this one which we have drawn earlier, this was the earlier curve. Can you see the difference between these two? The right hand side and the wrong
Yes, ma'am.
left hand side? So this left hand side is the
Yes, ma'am.
correct one. If I plot it in this black one is the correct graph, while this one is a wrong graph. So that is how you can draw your own demand curve depending upon how do you perceive about the price changes. Is it clear? Now all of you have your data table with you. Now next 10 minutes with your data, with your understanding. Now you had two values. So you will have a small curve. Since I have taken 5 numbers, so I have a long curve. But since you have two values only, you will have only 2 points. So now using Excel, the task is draw your demand curve with the data which you have created. All of you have created, so you have 5 different products. So you will have 5 different demand curves. All of you, are you getting my point or there is any confusion?
Ma'am,
Yeah, ma'am.
ma'am, excuse me.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Riddhi.
Ma'am, Actually, ma'am, my Excel is malfunctioning. I've actually sent you a mail yesterday as well.
I
I
have
don't know if
received
you
that,
have
I have
checked it.
received that. But if you can understand the process, you can also work it. So simultaneously, if you can work along with me, you can know the process. The reason of this is a small simulation. The reason of taking you through this work is so you can have a better understanding of how does the demand and supply curve work, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And you can know actually how is the price determined. Now with this figure, if I look into that, what should be the supply curve of sanitizers? So here I can create another table. That is your quantity supply. I have not come to supply part because first of all, I want you to be clear with the demand side. If you are done with the demand side, then I will come to the supply side. Similarly, if you give values to the supply, you will find out a supply curve. And wherever these two will join, the price will be decided. And that is how the price is determined in a market. Clear? So first task is draw your demand curve, all of you. Anyone who has completed and they can share their screen and show me. All of you have understood the process?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? Should I do it once more?
No, ma'am, it's all clear.
All of you?
Ma'am, can you please just explain it once more, ma'am,
Yes.
for the better clarity?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
doing it. Not to worry.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm deleting all the, removing every figure. I'm doing a fresh. Okay. So you understood the values? How to give values? That is understood, right?
Yes,
Based
ma'am.
upon the kind of scenario, you give values, right? So price and quantity demanded. So with these values, here I have taken a kind of value where I show that when price increases, the quantity demand is reducing. Based upon the law of demand, I have assigned certain values. So now, in order to draw the graph, what you need to do, you select all the data. Okay? Select all the data, go to insert. Then you have a scatter plot.
Ma'am,
Yeah?
excuse me.
Yes?
Can you allow recording for this?
Yeah, I have recorded the class. I will be sharing the recording.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to record, you can, Ghadir. You can.
Yeah, but it says please ask the host to give you permission to record on Zoom.
Yeah, because yes, okay, just 1 minute. Let me give you then the permission. But as such, I am recording the session today, and I will be sharing the recording after the class.
Okay.
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 So you can see that I have, first of all, you have to select all the values. This is the first step. Then go to insert, click on to insert. Go to scatter plot. So out of all the graphs, it's essential to go for a scatter plot only because the rest of will not quantify for this purpose. So we go to scatter plot and go to smooth scatter, this one. So click onto that. You receive a curve like this. So you will, by default, you will receive a downward sloping curve. But this is not a correct curve, right? Why it is not a correct one? So it is not a correct one because our x-axis is denoted by the values of the y-axis, isn't it? So the 0, 50, 100, and it will automatically take a scale. So 0 to 400, these are our price. Price varies from 100 to 350. So maximum it has taken 400. So our x-axis is price in this case. And y-axis, which is quantity demand, it is 0 to 1000. So it has taken a maximum of 1200. So this is our quantity. So it is the other way around. But as by law, our x-axis should be quantity and y-axis should be.
Price.
Price.
So now we have
Price.
to change this. This is wrong. Even if it is taking by default, it is wrong. It is not our correct demand curve as per the data we have taken. So how to rectify that? Just click a right click, go to select data. Right now, you remove everything. You clear your chart completely because you are drawing a new one. Right. So now, so can you see this? Add. So click
Yes,
on to
ma'am.
add. Series name. What is the name of our curve? It is the demand
Demand curve.
We are going to draw the demand curve, right? So series name will be DD curve. In short form, you can write DD curve. Series value X. So our X value is nothing but it is our quantity value. Clear? X value is quantity. So let us take all those quantity value, but you have to select over here. Can you see the cursor? If you are putting the cursor over here and selecting this, then the values will be taking here. Then again, it will be wrong. So you have to
It will be
click
like
on,
the default one.
yes, it will be like the default one. So you have to click over here, X series, then select your quantity value, only the values. So from 1000 to, can you see the conjoints moving graph? So that means it is
Yes, ma'am,
selected,
you can see your cursor.
right? So now X values have been selected and here you can see it is equal to 1000, 750, 500, 250 and 100, 0. So the values are automatically taken. Now come to Y values. So your Y values are price. So put a cursor over here. Select all the price values. Clear? So you can see the price values is equal to 100, 150, 200, 250, 100, to 300, 350. Like that it will go on. Then click
Yes,
on
ma'am.
to OK. And then another OK. So see, now this is your correct demand curve. Why it is correct? Because as per our data, when the price is 100, quantity demand is 1000. So price when it is 100, can you see here? Quantity demand is 1000. You have 1 point here.
Yes, ma'am.
When the price is 150, quantity demand is 750. So you have 750, another point here. Can you see the coordinates? When I'm putting a point on this, you can see the values 750 and 150. Isn't it? That means 750
Yes,
is
ma'am.
the quantity demand and 150 is the
And
price.
150 price.
Similarly, over here, this point, what does this point indicates? 500 and 200. That means whenever the price is 200,
500.
quantity. So this is matching our table. This graph
Yes,
is
ma'am.
now matching our table. But earlier it was not matching our table. So that is how our demand curve is drawn. And now you can tell me from this graph, either it is upward sloping or it is downward sloping.
Downward sloping, ma'am.
Downward sloping.
Downward sloping, because we have followed the rule, because we have followed the law. That is the law of demand. When price increases, demand decreases. That is how
Yes,
our
ma'am.
demand curve here is downward sloping. But not necessary that always the demand curve will be down, because for different products, it will be different shape. Let me take the different scenario. When the price is 100, I'm reversing it. 0, 1, it is 150. Suppose 100, 200, 350, 400, 450. So what do you see now? What has happened
Upward
to our
sloping.
curve now? So automatically, can you see how this is taking a change? Now with the same data, and this is the correct one because we have already reset our data. So that is why it will be showing a correct one. Once you reset your
Yes, ma'am.
data and you make any changes to your figure, your data, automatically you will see that your curve will take a shape. So this is how you can have a clear understanding about the demand curve. Now there will be no more confusion. Either the demand curve slopes downward or the demand curve slopes upward. Here you see the demand curve slopes upward, and it is nothing but it is our case 2. In the last class, I have discussed about case 1 and case 2, if you remember.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what was our case 1? The case 1 was the law of demand.
Of demand.
Law of demand.
The law of demand, that was when price increases, demand will decrease. When price decreases, demand will decrease. But case 2 was the
Exception to law of demand.
Exception.
exceptions of law of demand. What is the exception? The exception that even if price increases, demand won't decline.
Supply remaining constant.
This supply remaining constant, demand will also increase. Now in the case of hand sanitizer and mask, even if there is a constraint in the supply side, but even if price will increase, customers will be bound to pay, right? So that is how the demand curve has a change, and you can name by plotting. I think that thing by inserting how to change the name of x-axis, you can put here it is quantity and it is price. So this is how you can draw your own demand curve. Either it fits into case 1 if it is downward sloping, or if it fits into case 2, either it is upward sloping. So in your data which you have created, you can show either you fit into case 1 or case 2 for the 5 products which you have chosen. Is it clear now, all of you?
Yes,
Are any
ma'am.
queries?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No
Okay.
queries.
So now the task with you is, now all of you have created your data set. We have already run 12:20, time is almost, we have been over. You have your next class. So practice using Excel. Tomorrow we'll have a further discussion about, and I want to see your data plotted with your graph. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you
Yes, ma'am.
understood or doubt? I am sending the recording of this class